Hello and aloha to everyone in the planet. My name is Abbas Tamori. I am the elder of Baha'ullah. My mission is to promulgate Baha'i faith and bring the interpretations of the writing that's necessary to understand it today and for this time to bring it for you. Tonight my message is to the Baha'i community in the United Kingdom. To begin with, I would have to apologize for my bad English language. I learned it when I was 22 years old. And I came to contact, when I was 27 years old with the actual Canadian people that they spoke Canadian English. So I'm kind of a late comer into language, part of it. But tonight I found that, I'm obligated to say three things, three topics, three issues I'm going to talk to you, my dear friends. First of all, I want you to talk about the actual role of the English people, the Anglo-Saxons, in England and abroad. You always have heard that the people of Israel, the Israelites, are the chosen ones of God. It is recorded both in Bible, in Old Testament, and even in Quran. Later on, you had seen that Baha'ullah has founded the Baha'i faith in Iran, and so you could say that Iranians were also chosen for Baha'u'llah to come within that nations. Tonight I'm going to tell you, based on evidences, at these junctions, English people, the country of England, is chosen by God to do the work of God in this planet. I'm just going to go quickly to tell you that, as I've spoken in the past, in the videos number 5, for example, about the evolution of ideas, I've explained before that how the mythologies, they all died out, such as Egyptians, Celtic, Nordic, simply because they were not responding to the need of the people. But the Hebrew mythology remained, and it evolved into religion, from which you have seen the rise of Abraham, the prophet of God. Abraham had 2 children. One is Isaac, one is Ishmael. Isaac came from Sarah, from whom Jesus Christ and Christianity later on came about. As for Ishmael, the other son of Abraham, God told him to go all the way to Saudi Arabia. And from him, Muhammad and Islam as a religion appears. Later on, after Abraham, Moses comes. Moses is real founder of religion in a sense that the record began with him. And from his books and the prophets after him, we understood that the people of Israel, they were chosen by God. And these people, their ideologies, their religion, their enactment of laws of Moses was not very much known in the world. Israelis, they were not the type of people that they would go around and teach their faith. They taught it is for themselves. Later on, after Moses, comes Jesus and Christianity. 1500 years passed, they took the religion of Moses and the name of Moses and took it abroad, proliferated, and all the Europeans heard about it, and Roman turned into Christianity. But Christianity had a problem at the very outset. It was not compatible with the science of the time, which is the Greek science. They were not compatible. They acted like a virus, and the clergies in the Christianity, they had to say, stay away from this kind of knowledge. So we have, hence, the Dark Ages. But God had a backup plan. This is why the Ishmael was in Saudi Arabia. Islam was an updated version of Christianity. It was like an updated window. As it comes about, we can see that in the religion of Islam, knowledge is very big, is the foremost. Therefore, it was very much compatible with the Greek mythology, and they translated all those books. But in the Islam, it didn't hurt the faith, and thousands of the scientists and knowledgeable of those days came about. These two, otherwise brother and sister, as you can see, they met each other as crusaders. You could see a war. I could see a different view I have. I could see the plan. Evolution, continental plate meeting each other. Processes, in the cell, that the two chromosomes get separated, and then they come right there at the chiasma. Muslim, they gave to their Christian brothers all their knowledge that they had. Christian were hungry, took it, and they developed what we know is a Renaissance or cultural revolution in Europe. So a race began in Europe immediately that English people won the race, because they immediately wanted to know what other things is in the world. So they traveled all around the world, translated the books, learned their language. They put the input of all the world into their language. The English language is exactly, perfect testimony to that. It's such a broad language. They also were all immigrated from the mainland of Europe into this country. So they were refined in a way, selected, if you like to know. What they did, they found out that the rest of the Europeans are not compatible with them. They changed their religion from Catholic religion into Anglican. So at this time, they were all ready. God was looking for a contractor. The winner were English people. They were given the contract and the job to build Canada, United States, Australia, even New Zealand. They had a huge impact in humanity. I've said that before, I'm just telling you that right now. For example, Queen Victoria was the one who signed the Edict of Toleration, allowing the Jews to go to their mainland. So you could say the Jewish state began by Queen Victoria. Let's say Saudi Arabia, and the freedom and independence they have, it is because of the work of English, that they helped them out to get rid of this tyrannical regime of the Ottoman Empire, who, by the way, the Ataturks and Turkish people were very much against it, and they had a revolution to get rid of this kingdom. So, and when you look into the Baha'i faith, the only regime in the world that has been signed, certified by Baha'ullah, the manifestation of God, is the regime of England. He clearly says what's happening in London or Londonderry. He means English, England. He says that's proper. Because there's kingdom, because he liked kingdom. He says king is manifestation of the power of God, which I explained last night. Kings in England, kingdom in England, is a privilege for the British people, because they have to emanate and manifest the power of God, this ethical power, the moral authority they have to become for the rest of the English people. It's lacking in US, Canada, Canada, okay a little bit, but in other countries. This is one deficit they have. then you can see that actually Queen Victoria did not deny Baha'u'llah, didn't accept Baha'u'llah, but it denied order. Her grandson, Queen Mary of Romania, actually became a Baha'i. She wrote many tablets to her belief. Abdul-Baha helped the British troops when they were hungry. He became Sir. They actually signed by the authorities as Sir. So it's a direct involvement and connection, as you can see, between the government of England, people of England, culture of England, and the Baha'i faith. There's big affinity between them. The rules and the laws of the Baha'i faith are so much similar. And at the very first, when you look at it, British people did not learn anything about Baha'i faith to set England and create democratic parliamentarians. When Baha'u'llah introduced democracy into the religion by creation of the Baha'i administrations, British people in Canada and the United States, they were building a new system, a new country. Very much affinity between them. This is one of the things I wanted to tell you. So you are first in line to understand Baha'i faith, and among the British people, you, the Baha'i community, the member of the Baha'i community, really are the flag bearer, the cream of the crop. You know, I'm not going to tell you how to talk to your fellow countrymen, but I certainly tell you that you have to talk. It may not be very polite in your culture to just go and talk to somebody you do not know about religion. It might become proselytizations. But time is of essence and it's late. We have to create an effort, the best you can do, but people have to hear about Baha'i faith by you. Remember, Abdul-Baha says media, books, writing, none of it works, he says. He says Muslims, they didn't have Quran for 300 years before they know what it is. So it's Christian. There was no Bible among them. When the world became Christians, Christians didn't have actually a book. He says because one-on-one talk to people did their job. So it's the same thing, remember that. This is what Abdul-Baha says. Now, the second topic I want to talk to you about is of a paramount importance, is the matter of the covenant, the Baha'i administrations in the Baha'i faith. You all have heard the story of Susan Marshall, beautiful lady, okay? Her face is just indicative of who she is inside. And the women of the world, especially in England, in Canada, I heard it often, that they're suffering because they don't understand why women are not elected in the universal laws of justice. Abdul-Baha says the answer will be like a sun in the middle of the sky. You'll see it. I have investigated this topic for many years, 35 years, 24 hours a day, 7 hours a week, 7 days a week. Always I have been contemplating, trying to understand what the thing is. It was around in 1995 that I sent a letter to Universal Laws of Justice. As I was writing the letter to them, the topic changed. It's very crazy. I was going to say something else, but the topic changed. There I discovered, besides the Universal Laws of Justice with a membership of 9 men, there should be a Universal House of Guardianship with a membership of 5 women. They're elected too. And these two are the 2 stars that we have as a Baha'i emblem. We have the greatest name and 2 stars. One is Baha, one is Bob. One is Universal Laws of Justice with 9 members representing Baha, B-A-H-A 9 numerically, and Universal Laws of Guardianship representing Bob, B-A-B numerically 5. B is 2 and A is 1. I brought the matter to Universal Laws of Justice. I did not receive an answer. A counselor called and he says I'm wrong. I had to let go of this or I will be excommunicated. I like you to go to these videos from number 1 and 2 and number 47 through 55. thoroughly the whole process explained, who I am and what these things are. And the letter read to him, not to me. Universal Laws of Justice never sent a letter to me, sent to him. That tell to Mr. Temuri that we are very happy for his allegiance and unequivocal obedience to the universal laws of justice, but also tell him he's misguided about the elders. I said to this consular Kadirian, where am I misguided? He sent another letter from the research department of universal laws of justice indicating that the elders that I have claimed to be 5, they're actually 4, not 5. And then he said, well, if you're an elder of God, you should know there are 5, not 4. I said, is that your problem? He said, well, one of the problem. I told him there are actually 5, not 4. He says, you say Universal Laws of Justice made a mistake. I said, no, this is the research department of Universal Laws of Justice. And what was that? Their claim of the 4 is because Shoghi Effendi answers that in light of guidance, that in the Baha'i faith there are 24 elders, or otherwise guardian, as it is in the book Some Answers Questions. 19 of them is the Bab and 18 letters of the living. And then there was another guy who built the first Baha'i temple in Ashgabat of Russia. Then they became 20, therefore there's 4. I told them that there's only one problem. One of those 18 letters of the living, as you know them, one of them actually became the enemy of Baha'ullah. He said, where is that? I told him there's this book, Asrar al-Asar. Strange enough, my dear friend, I could never see these books, nobody knows it. Mr. Wahidi from India, for some strange reason, he sent a photocopy of all the 5 volumes to me, and I just read it and I saw that, right there. This gentleman's name is Hadi Ghazvini, who became follower of Azal, and they poisoned Baha'ullah. Baha'ullah calls him, you know, all kind of names. He's just absolutely an infidel. Therefore, I said 1 went out and 1 came in, still there are 5s. Especially the last interpreter, which is the authority, you have to go with the last one, the Shoghi Effendi. He says there are 5 more left. He says, regarding the 4 and 20 elders, as Abdul Baha stated in the tablet, as Master stated in the tablet, there are the Bab and 18 letters of the living and 5 others who will come in future. So far we do not know these 5 others are. He told me that, okay, so I told him, listen, Mr. Kadirian, I have no qualm with you. I do not like to be called an elder. I had a dream and a vision. I've been forced to call myself an elder. The dream, Abdul Baha told me so. I said, but that's the dream. I'm not going to go with it. I'd rather go with Universal Laws of Justice. Get a letter from Universal Laws of Justice to say that, Abbas Temuri, you are not an elder of God. Thank you for your study, but you're not. It's up to you what you want to do. He said, if that letter comes to you, it's the end of it. I said, of course. The phone was on the speaker, Mustafa, and my wife was there. He went back after a month. He could not get any letter. It seemed a member of the Universal Laws of Justice, for whatever their reason was, they could not agree whether I am an elder or not. I'm just trying to concise the matter. So I found that there's a lot of mistakes, tons of mistakes, okay? He told me that, but you know, what's the conclusive reason, you know, that you're saying an elder? I told him Universal Laws of Justice is the authority of God, at least you believe. And it's infallible, you believe. I, Abbas Temuri, have corrected this institution. They're not 5. They're not 4, they should be 5. And I proved it to you. If my knowledge is more than Universal Laws of Justice, then perhaps I'm an elder. I'm not claiming I'm any better than them. No. They are like the real king, like real prince. I'm just a tutor. But yet I know more than this prince at the moment. But I'm not going to be the ruler. They are. So, the other occasions when I study more, I found that this issue of the universal laws of guardianship is very serious. So one wonder, okay, why should there be elders or otherwise guardians? You always have heard of the progressive revelation in the Baha'i faith, that unlike the other religions, the Baha'i believe Baha'ullah is the last prophet of God, there is more coming after him. Did you know that there is also guardianship in the Baha'i faith that never ends? Page 300, Light of Guidance. Shaykh Effendi says clearly, after the ascension of Baha'ullah, first master, then the guardians will be in charge. God will choose a person to take care of his affairs. That's Baha'ullah, that is. He died in 1957. I was born in 1956. Therefore, guardian was always around. But I'm not going to brag and bring BS to you. I didn't know about these things at all, okay? That's the truth of the matter. When I had a dream that I'm an elder, I still didn't know what's my job. And I started to write letter to Universal Laws of Justice, then, somehow the matter clarified to me what's going on. So, what do we do now? The Universal Laws of Justice never said what I am, or I'm not, but Counselor decided that I'm not. He had some ridiculous questions. He's a very respected man. I like him. But when it comes to the issue of the religion, he just doesn't know. Okay? He asks some totally irrelevant questions. So now you're reading, you're listening and hearing in my videos, and right now, I cannot be classified as covenant breaker because I believe in universal laws of justice and national and local spiritual assemblies. And I'm asking you, in your effort and endeavor in teaching the Baha'i faith, remember one thing in your mind. There is no authority except the National Spiritual Assembly of England in England, or National Spiritual Assembly of any country, wherever it is. So is the local. There is no other authority. I am not the authority. I'm the elder of God to come and say a few things. It's up to you. In the world, there's only one universal house of justice. There aren't two. If there are two, they're both wrong. That's Abdul Baha's words. Please refer to the video number 1 and 2 and 47 to 55 to thoroughly get all this text. Why should I be called an infidel? I'm not an infidel. I believe in Baha'ullah.